Joe Biggs here with Infowars.com. Now, we were just contacted by New York State Police investigators that work with the Terrorism Task Force in Binghamton, New York. Now, earlier today, we went and investigated a compound deep in the Catskill Mountains of New York called Islamburg. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding this area. There's two sides of this story. A lot of people think that this is a breeding ground for radical Muslims, for jihadis. And then there's another side where people say, hey, this is a peaceful group of people who just want to live out their lives. But what we do know at this point in time is that we have a president that is purposely allowing the borders to be open. He is bringing in refugees that have not been vetted. The FBI has even come out and said, hey, we don't have the ability to go through all of these people that you are bringing in. Like we've said before, some of the most awake people in the country are military and law enforcement. But at the same time, these guys feel like they have to follow orders. And Obama is just sitting there and playing devil's advocate, allowing this kind of stuff to happen. So we came to New York. We came to investigate this American caliphate that is opening and unfolding before our eyes. And the fact that these guys are going to call us and ask us why we are going and looking into it, I'll give you a few reasons why we're looking into this place. Look at this. U.S. officials admit concern over Syrian refugee effort. Top U.S. counterterrorism officials say that they worry a potential terrorist could be hiding among the refugees, just like with what happened at the Paris attack. There was a guy who exploited that refugee crisis, came through the borders with a false passport, and carried out these attacks, which killed over 130 people. So sorry that a lot of us are concerned about something like that happening over here. And you've got this place that's completely surrounded in secrecy. You can't just go in there. The police don't even have the ability to really go out there. They leave them alone. They deal with everything internally at these compounds. So who's to say that someone coming over that has radical ties, someone that has that extremist jihadi, fight in their heart, how do we not know that those kind of people are going to come over the border and find one of these places like this that's a safe haven, that's secret, that can't be gone into? I mean, they have a guard at the front gate. As soon as I approached, more people showed up in vehicles and came out and asked me why I'm there. So yes, I'm concerned, along with many other Americans that are and should be. Look at this. Barack Obama, it's illegal for states to refuse Syrian refugees. There it is, right there. There's no getting around it. He is allowing this to happen. Secret planting of up to 75,000 Syrian Muslims begins in the U.S. But Obama hasn't shown willingness to rescue Christian refugees that have been killed by ISIS. He doesn't care about that. Not at all. So yes, this is another reason why people are concerned. Check this out. Texas governor bringing new Syrian refugees is irresponsible. I agree. Paul Joseph Watson today writes this article right here. ISIS brags about exploiting refugee program to send sleeper cells into Europe. Now, the same stuff's happening here because ISIS will exploit the open border crisis that has been going on for a while. And what kind of places are they going to go to? Sleeper cells. Look at that. Right here. Where do you think they're going to go? Islamburg, Holy Islamville in South Carolina. You got Dearborn, Michigan. You got Hamtramck. You've got all these places in the country that are havens for this stuff. Look, Muslim no-go zones. It's not made up. We saw it in Molenbeek, Belgium. This isn't BS. This isn't made up. Our government, our president wants this to happen. He is purposely doing it. There's no other way around it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Check this out. 16% of French citizens support ISIS, even though ISIS went in and killed over 130 people. That is demented. Shock poll right here. Breitbart. 81% of Al Jazeera Arabic poll respondents support Islamic State. They support throwing homosexuals off bridges, hanging them, throwing off buildings. murdering people in mass numbers, executing them, chopping their heads off, slitting their throats. So yes, there is a reason to be concerned about something like this. And I find it just amazing that these guys would call us, have the audacity to go, why are you investigating this? No, you're not going to shut us up. At Infowars.com, we put boots on the ground and we go out. We fight for what we believe in. We believe in truth, liberty, and the American dream. There's no other way around it. You're not going to have these false flag attacks. You're not going to intimidate us. You're not going to take our guns. Roger, this is what we do. We go out and we expose the corruption going on. Sharia as the official law of the land. That's how many percentages of people in different countries that believe Sharia law should rule the land. Now, an interesting thing about that, when we went to Islamburg today, one of the guys at the gate handed me a newspaper that they make inside there saying that basically Sharia law is already in America and that Americans should accept the fact that Sharia law is much like the U.S. Constitution, comparing the U.S. Constitution to Sharia law. You've got right here, poll of U.S. Muslims reveals ominous level of support for Islamic supremacists, doctrine of Sharia, and jihad. It says right here, even more troubling is the fact that nearly a quarter of the Muslims polled believe that it is legitimate to use violence to punish those who give offense to Islam by, for example, portraying the Prophet Muhammad. Does everybody remember what happened in Charlie Hebdo in France, in Paris? They went in because they could not take a comic. They were so offended by a drawing, a cartoon, that they decided to go in and murder people. That is what we are dealing with. That is the intensity of this extremism. Now, I've said it before, there are good Muslims out there. I'm not going to deny that at all. I would be lying if I did. There are great ones out there. But we have to come to a point in America and stop being politically correct and go, you know what, there is a problem with that. And every time one of these events happen, what do? They want to take our liberties away and they want to threaten to take our guns. That is ridiculous. We need the ability to protect ourselves from crazy nut jobs that Obama clearly wants to let into here. And this is the last one I'm going to cover. Twice as many British Muslims fighting for ISIS than in the UK armed forces. That in itself right there shows you the power of what's going on with ISIS. America, you need to wake up. You need to be pissed off like I am and sick and tired. That doesn't mean going out and making threats or doing anything like that. But what it means is telling our government to be accountable, holding Obama accountable for what he is doing. He's not accidentally doing this. He doesn't accidentally drop bombs or weapons or ammunition off to ISIS. He is purposely doing it. This is all done by design. The wide open borders is not a mistake. They want to cloward and pivot all day long. They want to destroy our country. They want to bring in these socialist views. It is completely and totally ridiculous. So follow what we're doing for the next week because we will be exposing and investigating these jihadi places, these compounds that are all across the country. And I still can't believe that the Terrorism Task Force is more concerned about me exposing what's going on there than they are worried about these guys coming across the border who intend to harm American citizens. That in itself right there makes my stomach hurt. Stay tuned for more reports at Infowars.com. I'm Joe Biggs.